Hi, I'm Liz. I study nutrition and public health, and tonight we're going to be making a Moroccan-inspired tempeh with some North African flavors, and also a sweet couscous with honey, cinnamon, dates, caramelized onions, and roasted almonds. And on the side, we're going to have a fresh salad with cucumbers, carrots, fresh lettuce, and a yogurt-dill dressing. This meal makes great leftovers. It's balanced because you have some carbohydrate, a protein element, and then some fresh vegetables. So I started cooking when I was about 19, when I went to college and realized that I couldn't afford the dining hall and it didn't taste that good anyway. And I joined a vegetarian co-op because that was the least expensive option. So when I learned to cook, a lot of the food that I first made was vegan and vegetarian, although I'm an omnivore. Cooking has a creative aspect to it, which I really like, an experimental, sciencey aspect to it that I really like. And then also it's got a sort of a cultural and a social convening element where when you cook something really delicious, you can share it with other people. Welcome to my tiny kitchen! Tempeh is basically fermented as far as I understand it, and it's made from soybeans and then whole grains. So it's a high protein vegetarian. I wouldn't say it's a meat alternative because I don't think it tastes anything like meat. It's got its own good thing going on. A lot of people don't eat tempeh because they think it's dry and they don't think it tastes good, but it soaks up flavor. The tempeh is made with what I think you pronounce chermoula. Chermoula is a North African marinade. Key ingredients include paprika, cumin, cayenne, and then some salt and pepper. I like to put lemon in it, also some chopped up tomatoes, olive oil, very important, cilantro, very important, and garlic. And so I'm going to make that up, soak the tempeh in that and a little water, or you could use vegetable or chicken broth. First thing I'll do is open up the tempeh. And I'm going to slice it into little cubes. How you slice it up is not that important. I like to put the tomatoes in here, but the tomatoes are optional. We're going to make this pretty spicy. Again, I'm just kind of eyeballing it, but so you can do whatever you want to taste, but just make sure you use paprika. Another thing that's optional is cilantro and parsley. I think this dish really needs cilantro, but some people think it tastes soapy. So I'm putting some cilantro in here and a ton of cumin. Cumin is your friend, and it's delicious. I'm going to put some cayenne pepper in here, also optional for people who don't like spice. The dietary guidelines used to say to pursue low-fat items. It no longer says that. It acknowledges really for the first time in definitive terms that fat is not going to make you fat. It's about quality of fat, it's about quality of carbohydrate. So it's about choosing olive oil over butter. It's about, eating whole grains over refined grains. So barley instead of white rice, for example. So if the choice is between butter and a cookie, you should just eat whatever tastes best to you. But if the choice is between butter and olive oil, then you should probably choose olive oil if health and not flavor is your primary concern. I'm going to use some chicken broth in here, but you could easily use vegetable broth or just water. Because what we're going to do later is sort of stew it, and it's going to absorb all this liquid. So normally I would stick this in the fridge overnight so that the tempeh had a chance to really soak it up, but today we're just going to let this sit. Okay, so I'm going to do olive oil and a little butter. So this I'm actually going to dice a little bit because I'm going to mix it up with the couscous. So now that the butter's melted, I'm going to put this on low. Try and caramelize this rather than saute it. I got pitted dates, again, because I'm lazy and I like to do things that are easy. But medjool dates would be even better. Those are the really big, juicy dates. So we're adding the dates to the caramelized onions, and we're going to just leave that on low. So we're going to add some cinnamon and honey to this right now. Raw honey from Vermont. So I'm just going to use a dollop of it. I'm going to salt the couscous at the end, because one thing I've discovered is that most of the salt in your diet is hidden in food already, and you don't even get to enjoy it. You're ingesting it without enjoying it. So I like to salt my food at the end, because the amount of salt you add at the table is not that much, and you get more bang for your buck because you can taste it more. So with couscous, it's 1 cup water to 1 cup couscous. Bring it to a boil in the same pan that this other goodness is in. So we're going to try and boil this, and then we're going to turn it off and dump in the couscous and cover it. And then we're just going to let it sit there, and when it's done, after about 5 minutes, we'll fluff it so that the cinnamon and the honey move all around in there. This dressing, you would normally want a small clove of garlic, finely chopped, or you can omit that if you're going to be making out with someone shortly afterwards. A little bit of lemon, olive oil, salt, pepper, and then dill. 2% Greek yogurt. Then I'm going to add some salt, a generous amount of dill. Fresh dill is even better. There's some pepper. If you're going to store this dressing, I would add the lemon before you're going to serve it, because it doesn't necessarily make friends with the yogurt well over a long period of time. I'm using a non-stick pan because I think it makes life easier and then the tempeh doesn't stick. So let's heat a little olive oil in here. I'm going to bring it up to a point where it's sort of bubbling and starting to smell good. Then I'm going to cover it and leave it on a slightly lower heat. I'll brown it at the very end by raising the heat so that the tempeh is a little bit crispier on the outside. So I want all of these little tempeh bites to be kind of nestled in this lagoon of goodness so that they can absorb all the flavors that I've put in here. So I wanted to add more liquid so they can all be part of this little bath. This is definitely boiling now, so we're going to mix it around and cover it up. So I'm going to put this on medium, put a lid on it. I think I'm going to uncover this because the liquid is absorbing, but I'm hungry and I want to eat sooner, so I think I'm going to cook it uncovered. That way more of the liquid boils off and it'll get browner. So can you see how this is absorbing some of the liquid? Yeah. I'm going to actually turn up the heat a little bit and try and brown it.
Into your kitchen and pick up your bowl. Healthy and happy food that's good for your soul.
I think it's going to taste
Stories
good.
we share, taste that we love.
Bon appetit.
Chop, chop, chopping with, stop and talking with, places hopping with Mero. Knives dropping with, popcorn's popping with, anything can happen with Mero. There's no stopping with, not just talking with, chop, chop, chopping with
David, stop singing the Chopping with Mero theme.